The main challenges is that people need to identify mainly their customer base, especially their target audience. If you want to get into this industry, it's quite easy. You don't have to go in by degree. And also trying to stand out by doing something unique, but not just follow the books. That was not enough for people. We want to explore something new, get those haptic feedbacks through VR, and also even metaverse. We use that way and to understand and portray fashion. So it was actually a success.
Welcome back to another episode of TechTalk360, where we unveil one bite at a time. Today we have one of our very special guests, who is Aaqil Yoosoof.
Hi.
Hi again. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me here.
So Aaqil is actually a self-taught fashion designer and also a growth marketer. So to start off with Aaqil, who is Aaqil Yoosoof?
Yeah, it's quite a long story. So a bit of a crazy creative from fashion to marketing, and also interested in tech and innovation. So it goes back to where I was trying to find career change and trying to fit in from financing, where the right perfect fit. And that's where marketing came into play with all the creativity and also with new innovations and tech that comes into play. So that's where I started off my career in. And then slowly with the interest of fashion coming in, that's where I started trying to take how fashion marketing was done globally and trying to implement it in brands in Sri Lanka as well. So that's a bit about where I start from.
This visionary gave the gift of literacy to the blind. His invention changed lives then. And we're thrilled to continue on from where he left off.
So Aaqil, if I ask you this question, so where does the journey begin in terms of fashion? And you also mentioned that you are interested in tech and growth, and then growth marketing. So where all of this began?
I think it goes back to 6 years back. So I was, like I said, I was trying to find what was the right fit for me. So especially, being someone who was in IT first and then trying to figure out, if finance would work. And then I was being there for quite a while, almost over 2 years. But then I felt something I could do more, especially with innovation and the creative thoughts I have. So that's where I started exploring marketing, where I got the opportunity to work with this organization and also have the opportunity to explore new creative minds. So that's where the whole journey for marketing began. But then in terms of fashion, if you may ask me, that's something that was been there from my blood from small days. I always wanted to be good, and always trying to be out there. And then slowly watching how, as I grow, like Fashion Week and also other things that up there, especially the projects that portray fashion. So that's where I started thinking, okay, might as well see how we can do marketing and fashion in a different way. But then in terms of tech, especially we live in a dynamic, era. So we can't just stick, to the books and, figuring out what works best. So I think tech and innovation just comes with that we are in the dynamic era as well. So that's where the tech and innovation, just inspired me a lot.
Amazing. So that's actually quite a unique thing that we I don't see much. So Aaqil, if I ask about growth marketing, so how do you see growth marketing as a market now, as a job now? If you say, if we are to say the industry to the youth, and if they want to pursue a career in growth marketing, what do you see in that industry, and mainly some challenges in that industry as well?
Yeah, I think growth marketing is something that a lot of people can get into, and the main challenges is that people need to identify mainly their customer base, especially their target audience, because when we think about our target audience, we just think it as like a very holistic view. But what's more important is when you start looking into the micro moments of your target audience, when they'll start using the mobile phones, when they'll start using the apps, when they'll start using, seeing your ads, to also the interactions as well. So when you start capturing those micro moments, you can understand the marketing in a holistic view to see if the right channels and also the right touch points are being used there. So that is there. And then in terms of job opportunity, is finding the right essence to it, because anyone and everyone can be a marketeer, but then it's also seeing how you can play the right tones and understanding your customer audience, and also how you can use their user journey basically to get from end to end. That's where it makes it important.
He spent his career inventing the tools, toys, software, and projects that popularized the view of computers as incubators of knowledge. We carry his torch, inspiring the next generation of innovators through innovative learning experiences.
So if I jump into the other side in terms of fashion, so it's not a topic that I speak in the podcast, but here I am speaking about it. So where does the thrive to fashion come in? Like you mentioned, yeah, you like to dress well and stuff like that. But in terms of the other ways, is fashion the industry something that an individual can perceive? And is there a lot of opportunities in the market as well? How do you see fashion industry?
There is a lot of opportunities, and you can see like even nowadays there's like a lot of kids even like starting their own clothing line and stuff. So there is a lot of opportunity in terms of fashion, especially in Sri Lanka. But then how in terms of fashion marketing is also something that a lot of individuals would want to know. So I mean, something interesting that we did was I did an event like few days ago. It was called Put to SL. That was actually showcasing a generational trauma, basically a taboo topic in showcasing it in a fashion. So that was something unique that we did, partnering up with a fashion designing student called Melanie Lawrence. So shout out to her for getting everything done. But that is something we did the whole marketing to understand how we can portray a messaging without impacting an individual's lives. So because since it's a taboo topic, so we use that way and to understand and portray fashion. So it was actually a success. We brought in like over 8,000, which was able to reach over 8,000 individuals through social alone without ads. So that was there. But then in terms of opportunity, it is a growing opportunity, and especially the industry, it's crowded, but you have to play it right. So that's where I see it.
That's pretty interesting on that way. So Aaqil, what I always talk about in the podcast is that now we are shifting towards a digital journey.
Exactly.
And we are moving to AI and tech, which is blasting off the roof. So how do these play a role in all the industries that we mentioned? Growth marketing, fashion. So if you take fashion, it's onto a new level. So how do you see the tech and new AI journey contrasting with the traditional way that we used way back? How do you see and what do you comment on them?
I think it has grown a lot, especially in tech, because even now, not only just in fashion, but also other industries, they are like tapping into like, metaverse, to AR, VR, basically to create the whole new user experience. Because now we were back in the days used to just going to a physical store or just visiting the website and stuff, but then that was not enough for people. We want to explore something new, get those haptic feedbacks through VR, and also even metaverse, which is quite low in Sri Lanka, but then we see it growing in like certain brands that are actively trying to get in touch with. So those are something new. I see like a lot of industries they want to play in, but still it's a bit laid back because some of them are scared to adapt, that it might not be right for their audience. But then it's something that we should try out, especially now with generative AI and things that's taking over the tech industry. So I think that's something where it completes a whole user journey if you were to link it back to marketing as well. So that's something I think the tech and the innovations and also the new things that would actually play in for all industries as well.
Here is a man who imagined machines that could think. Today, we push the boundaries of artificial intelligence, creating solutions that shape the world of tomorrow.
Definitely. So Aaqil, we are just coming to the last few questions on the podcast. So if I just could, I ask this almost in every episode, is that if there is a message that you can give out to the youth who are trying to pursue in these industries that we mentioned, and if there's any inspiration that you would share how they can get into these industries that we mentioned, is there any message that you can give?
I think especially if you want to get into this industry, it's quite easy. You don't have to go in by degree. It's all like self-learning. But the main thing how you can excel and grow in this is keeping up to trends, and also trying to stand out by doing something unique, but not just follow the books. So that's how I would say the young ones or someone who wants to grow, excel in this career, they have to follow that. Something how they can mix and match rather than following just the books.
So Aaqil, finally, what I always ask during all the podcasts is that how does these industries link to Sri Lanka, and as youth of Sri Lanka, do we actually have a chance in all these industries, and where is Sri Lanka heading towards a greater future in these industries, and how do you see in them?
I think we are, because if you look at it as a holistic view, we are growing actually. So, and especially in all these industries, there's a lot of opportunities coming up there, and especially in the younger generations, we see everyone wants to create and thrive more. They want to look into new opportunities and new things that they can create. So there is more potential opportunities. I think once we all get into a stable position and start thinking right, we can actually achieve it, and there is a high potential in Sri Lanka, especially with the talents we got here.
We always believe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rasal.
So that's another episode of TechTalk360. If there's anyone who want to reach you out on LinkedIn, and if there's anyone who want to have a chat with you, how they can?
So you can reach out to my LinkedIn, Aaqil Yoosoof at LinkedIn, and you can follow me on Instagram, xqil918.
Thank you, Aaqil.
Thank you, Rasal.